Okay, now we can officially begin. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Public Outreach, Education, and Wellness Committee meeting. I'm Dr. Ron Lewis, the chair of the committee, and I have some basic comments to read prior to my beginning my presentation. They're usually the script, the official script, so I'm going to read them. Bear with me. I want to ask all of you to please turn off their cell phones to silent and off the table for the committee members. You may notice board committee members accessing their laptops during the meeting. They're using their laptops solely to access board meeting materials that are in electronic format. This is an official business meeting of the Medical Board of California, and as such, disruptions of the board's business will not be tolerated. We have a designated time on the agenda for public comments and ask for public comments on each agenda item. I ask that you be respectful of the need for us in the board to conduct business, and should anyone disrupt this meeting, I will ask the person to conduct himself or herself in such a manner that permits the board to transact its business. This meeting will be available via teleconference. Individuals listening to the meeting will have an opportunity to provide public comment and will be assisted by a moderator who will be facilitating the teleconference process. For those members of the public participating via teleconference, please wait until the moderator has introduced you before making your comments. To request to make a comment during the public comment period, press the star key on your phone, and you will hear a tone indicating that you're in the queue for a comment. And if you change your mind, do not want to make a comment anymore, just press the pound sign and you'll be removed from the queue. Assistance is always available throughout the teleconference meeting, and to request a specialist, press *0. Now, each person is limited to 3 minutes per agenda item. However, during the agenda item number 2, which is called public comments on items not on the agenda, the board has a limited total public comment period for individuals to 20 minutes. In addition, public comment for individuals here at this meeting will also be limited to 20 minutes. Therefore, after the 20-minute period, no further comments will be accepted. During public comment on any other agenda item, 10 minutes will be allowed for comments from individuals on the teleconference line and those here in the audience. After 10 minutes, no further comments will be accepted. The business services staff here will be assisting me with receiving public comments via teleconference and during this meeting. The board welcomes public comment on any agenda item, and it's board's intent to ask for public comment prior to the board's taking action on any agenda item. If for some reason I forget to call on you or ask for public comment, and you wish to speak on a particular item, just raise your hand and I'll recognize you. I would like to request all speakers to complete a presenter slip so I can call on you by name at the appropriate time, and that the record of this meeting can be full and complete. However, this is completely voluntary. Please give the speaker slip to Ms. Mose, who is right there in the middle. And I'll do my best to call upon everybody who has submitted a slip or has questions from the audience. I want to remind all speakers, please stay on topic for the agenda item and keep your comments limited to 3 minutes or less. Okay, first order of business is that we'll call the roll call. Ms. Mose, could you call the roll?
Dr. Hawkins?
Here.
Dr. Kraus?
Present.
Dr. Levine? Present. Ms. Pines? Here. Mr. Serrano-Sol?
Present.
Ms. Yaroslavsky?
Present.
And Dr. Lewis?
Present. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have quorum. Okay. The next item of business, number 2, is public comments on items that are not on the agenda. Now let me think. I'm just looking through my list. Bear with me. Does anybody in the audience have public comments that are not on the agenda? Raise your hand. No? Anybody on the telephone?
Do we have any comments on the line?
No comments coming.
No comments on the
attendees.
telephone. Okay. So I'm seeing none. I'll move on to the next agenda item, which is public comment approval of the minutes for the October 29th, 2015 Public Outreach, Education, and Wellness Committee meeting.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion to move. We have a second. Any comments from members of the committee? Seeing none. Any comments from members in the audience here? And any comments from members or on the telephone?
Do we have any comments on the line?
No comments.
We will now take a roll call vote.
Dr. Hawkins?
Yes.
Dr. Kraus?
Yes.
Dr. Levine?
Yes.
Ms. Pines?
Yes.
Mr. Serrano-Sewell?
Yes.
Ms. Yaroslavsky?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Okay, now I'm moving on to agenda item 4, which means I'm on. So, but I don't want to do it sitting down. I'm going to stand over there. So bear with me. I just had to get up and move my hands, so, I can't do it sitting down. Is this going to work?
Beanie hand puppets.
This thing?
I have some at home, finger puppets. You want me to bring them next time?
Oh,
Okay.
no, here. No, put it here. Can you put it there?
We could do sign language.
Here. Testing. Live. Okay. Now, I'm not going to read word for word because I think you all can read it in the agenda and also on the screen here, but I'm going to sort of give you some introduction. You know, last meeting in October, the board heard a presentation from staff on the outreach to patient plan regarding informing patients how to verify physicians' licenses, physicians' disciplinary history, etc. And after that meeting, the board members, some of them made comments on how to maybe improve or alter the plan to make it more patient-friendly. And we also heard a lot of very good comments from the audience in similar vein. So what I did is I met with staff several months ago, and we sat down to look at the plan and also to rebrand it to make it really stand out to reach as many patients and consumers as possible and make it very easy and just send the message out there. This is what we want you, how we want you to be informed, and here are the tools on how to do it. So in that, oh, now it works that way, huh? Okay, so with that, we have a goal. And the goal says we want to reach as many patients in California as possible to make them aware of the Medical Board of California and their ability to verify physician's license on the board website. This will allow patients to ensure a physician is licensed, but not only licensed, also is in good standing with the board, meaning what's going on with their license, in other words. So let's look at a situational analysis. What do we think when you hear the word Medical Board of California? A lot of people out there really don't know what we do. So we thought, we got to get that message out. What does the board do? What does the board do for you as a consumer and as a patient? So knowing that, we have to get that message out there. We want to be able to give patients, consumers, the tools on how to obtain information using our website on their physicians, or potential physicians, because not everybody has one, okay? So we look at the target audience, and of course we would like every patient, we'd like every patient in California to be our target audience, right? But we thought, let's go and see where the low-hanging fruit is. Let's see who utilizes our medical services more frequently. And we thought, okay, we have senior groups that utilize it more frequently. We have various ethnic groups and communities that we need to reach out to. We have parents who have children. And we also have a very good group of legislators, be that state or federal legislators in California, that we could also use to assist us in this program. And we want to use this in a prioritized approach. What we didn't want to do is just throw darts out there, reach everybody, and put all these resources out there at one time, we thought, let's see where the low-hanging fruit is, we can reach the biggest group and the biggest bang for your buck. So the low-hanging fruit. Now, what's our challenge? Challenge is money. We don't really have a budget to do this. We have to rely on Department of Consumer Affairs to provide funds to do this. So a lot of this we're going to be doing sort of from staff members who happen to be in certain locations that can do outreach, and also we're going to call upon my fellow colleagues on the board to also help with this outreach program. So we have two strategies to implement. We have current and ongoing event participation outreach, which Cassandra and her group have been doing now in various shopping malls and various events with groups of seniors and in neighborhoods. But we also need to partner with numerous organizations and piggyback on them to help with our campaign and focus, hopefully, on a particular month that's called Check Up on Your Doctor's License Month. So doctor checks up on you, you check up on your doctor. Now, in order to begin this plan, we've got to really do two things. We've got to develop a public service announcement that can be provided to various groups on the airwaves. So we're going to work on that to obtain a public service announcement. But also as important, or probably more important, is to develop a tutorial for the website on how you can look up a physician's license, see if they have a license and it's in good standing, meaning what is attached to their license. And later on, after my presentation, we're going to go through that with you. So hold your question on that, but you'll see that we've made enhancements to the website to really try to get that information and make it easy. So what we did in our meeting, I met with staff, and I want to thank Jennifer, Cassandra, and Kim for providing a lot of this input when we met. Let's prioritize, again, as I said, the low-hanging fruit. So who out there has the most population under their wing? We have utility companies. Almost everybody has a gas and electric bill, a water bill, or something. And you get those little announcements in the flyer, or you get on the bottom of your bill something about you're efficient, you're not efficient, your water, whatever. We thought, well, maybe we can contact these companies and see if we could piggyback on their mailing. Also, large amount of consumers work for the city, county, and state. And those of you, like myself, who work for the state government on your pay stub, you get your IRS, information. Maybe we can put an announcement, here's how you check up on your doctor. So we're going to hit these large groups of people as a prioritized approach. Then we have groups of seniors, although at AARP I think it's like 50 and over, so I don't want to call myself a senior, but we can look for groups like AARP. We can reach out to the various unions who have large populations of members, so they can provide their members information. Many of them have conventions, they have meetings that we could either go to or provide some kind of announcement for them to hand out. And then we have things like iHeartRadio and other PSAs that we could distribute to outside entities. So this is in priority 1. So I think if we can reach that group, we'll get a large percentage of consumers and patients out there. But then we also go to priority 2. Now if you look at priority 2, these are things that are nice to have, but maybe we should just wait a little bit until we have done priority 1, and then let's look and see if we can then attack priority 2. So various other regulatory boards may be able to assist us with their membership. Community newspapers, school publications, PTA publications, invite media to events when we do our Focus Check Up on Your Doctor month, and provide them with information on this campaign. And here's a list of other outreach items that we could also do. And I want to emphasize, this is not a one-time thing where we just go out there one day and reach all these people. This is an ongoing effort. This is like every day. So I don't want anybody to think that, after this is done, we stop, we pull back, and we go on to something else. This is every day we're going to think about how to reach more and more people. Now, it's not going to be perfect. We're not going to reach every 100% of people out there, but I think if we reach a majority of people, give them the tools to be informed, that's the key word, informed patients, I think we will have accomplished a great deal when this campaign is up and running.
You want to talk about the first two lean because those are important.
Oh, and it's these two, this one? Yes. We have a lot, we and the board members, we have legislative days, and we're going to have one maybe February or March, or maybe two of them. We're going to meet with various members of the legislature, both Assembly and Senate, to talk about our program and roll out a Check Up on Your Doctor month. So we're going to ask them to reach out to their constituents, because they all have newsletters, and assist us in our campaign. And then I talked about the legislative day. Okay? It's hard to see it back here, huh? Okay, so that's basically the outreach plan in a nutshell. And you can refer to this list for more details, but I don't want to bore you with reading every single detail. But you get the idea. Be an informed patient, informed consumer. Okay, so we move on, right? To the brochure. We don't have. You want to just go? Let's go ahead, and if you don't mind, let's just go ahead and look at the brochure, and we'll take public comment on both of those items. Does everybody receive or one of these? They're on the back, or my colleagues on the board who got that. Okay, so let's look at the brochure that was developed by the medical board staff, and I'm just going to hold it up like this and see if it sort of stands out. That's what we want people to grab it, stand out, grab it, and say, oh, what is this about? This looks medical. So here it is. Now, if you see the outside, it says, check up on your doctor's license. So check, stethoscope, medical. Be an informed patient. So then you open up the brochure, and it goes into more detail. Medical Board of California wants you to make an informed decision about your doctor, and then it walks you through how to access the website and a tutorial on how to look up your doctor's license or potential doctor's license, and then also see if there's any disciplinary actions attached to that license.
Can I just add on one thing on the brochure? We do have still the verify a license on there. We're going to be changing that, but that's going to be talked about under agenda item 6. But I did want to let you know that this was with our old website. So some of this will be changed just because of our processes we're going to be doing with our website. So some of this information on here will be changed, as well as the picture down here will have a different picture of the new website once we get it done.
Right.
So.
Now, I just want to call your attention to a couple things on this brochure, about in the middle and also on the back, because these are some of the comments from the last board meeting, is that our website had disappeared, almost non-readable, unless you had a magnifying glass, and we have our 800 number, because not everybody has access to a computer. Now, they have access to public libraries, maybe city and county government can be involved, somebody has a daughter, a nephew, or some 12-year-old that has computers. But for those who don't have access to a computer, they can call the phone number and get the same information. So we wanted to stress that, and we wanted to put that somewhere where it was bold and a larger font.
And I've actually been meeting with, actually we have a meeting set next week to meet with our our consumer unit to talk about the phone system and just making sure that all of our individuals are trained to answer those phone calls, and then finding processes to make sure that A, that we're answering the phone call in a timely manner, and B, that those phone call returns are getting returned. And just to give you an example, I actually tested them in the last couple weeks, and made sure that when I left my phone number, I did get a call back, and I was happened to report in 19 minutes I did get a call back. So, and it was from an unidentified number. They didn't know it was me. Shocking to all of them when I answered the phone, but it was actually a very good test from mine, because I know, we'd had comments on that last time, and I really wanted to thank the, Consumers Union for bringing those issues forward, and we'll continue to test that as well as start getting statistics on the hold time on the phone. So we want to make sure that if we're driving people there, that we're actually answering the calls and giving them the information they need.
Okay, so I'll stay here. Go ahead. Now, comments from my colleagues on the committee.
Just a question. Given the admitted shortcomings of the current website, do we have any statistics on how often that search function is actually clicked, the verify
You do.
verify license?
I'm going to have Sean come up.
Okay.
And Kim, should we roll into the website, or you want to just?
If you want, I can.
I think the question might be answered when we're doing a demo on the website. So that's why I like to take all this together. If you don't mind, it's probably easier. So if we could roll right into the website and then take the questions. Okay. I know it's out of order, but.
So if you guys get ready. Okay, well, we went back after our last meeting and really did a look at our website, taking some of the information that had been provided from a lot of the members as well as the public on our website. And then, much to my staff's chagrin, started going and looking at other websites of others and using what I have thought of, like when I've gone to another board's website, oh, I like that, or oh, I don't like that, and kind of using that as a goal as well. So when I go to this website, it's difficult for me because I like pictures. Maybe that's it, I don't know. But I have a hard time even finding out where to go. I know verify a license was brought up last time, that might be confusing to individuals. But just on the face of it, when I first come to the website, I want to see exactly right up front where to go and what to look for. And I also want to call the public documents forward too. That's something that had been brought up from our public individuals, that, hey, one of the best places is to be able to go and look at our public documents as well, because it's an easy check. You can just go in and look at the last name. We want to drive people to our website as well, but that's another tool and resource. So I'm going to have the members, it's in your packet, but if you want to take us to the enhancements that we're looking at right now, the first ones. Whoops. Okay. So this is what we have developed, something right there on the front after our mission, that it states right there, okay, here's how to, and again, we're going with the theme of what Dr. Lewis had come up with on checkup on your doctor's license. We're going with the same theme. We're going with the same picture, tie continuity together. Ms. Hawkinson has been really good about teaching us about branding. So we're trying to make sure that we have the same branding on all of our documents now and everything. Then the other thing is, sometimes that's not clear enough. So we've actually added a little bit of a blurb as to, okay, what does that mean though? So check up on your physician's license status with the medical board. And I know it looks kind of weird because we're saying doctor in the first sentence and physician in the second. And the reason we're actually doing that, we do have a method to our madness with the inconsistency. It's that when you actually get to the next page, when you go to search by a licensee, it's entitled physicians and surgeons, and that's what all of our information is under. So we wanted to put the word physician in there. So we also put the red check to tie in with the brochure called license search. And then if you'll notice, up over in the right-hand side, we've entitled that verify a license to license search. And Charlotte has actually done some data gathering from other boards. And if you want to talk about that a little bit, about the information that they have.
Yes, so out of all of the 50 states, about 15 of them still use the word verify a license or some version of license verification. However, the majority have moved over to look up a license or search your doctor, license search. So we went more with the main group.
And the reason we left it license search rather than like physician or doctor search is because that button over there, although the main one we're driving for physician and surgeons, we still do have licensed midwives, research psychoanalysts, polysomnography. Of course, I had to choose that one, the hard one. But anyway, all of these other license types that we have, so we wanted to make sure that we're not, segregating from those individuals. So then the other thing we wanted to put on there is how to file a complaint. So that we wanted to make it bold on our webpage. And then the third thing is the public documents. And we wanted to put on there search enforcement documents for physicians and other licensees, because once you click on that, you can do the name search on the individuals and pull up the documents that we have available, if there are any available. So from this screen then, and we're going to actually, is that what we're ready for, to demo? Mm-hmm. Okay, so then we're going to actually demo what happens when you do the license search, and I think we're live here. So we've found a choice physician that we believe we can check up on his license. So this is what comes up next, and then you can see here it gives you options, and so we're going to choose physician and surgeon. Oops. And then there was a choice there from by name, by license number, etc., and we chose the by name. So
Was there a word that said DO?
actually, we put information on there to say if your license isn't found here, they may be an osteopathic. So go to the there it is.
That's
so
it, yes.
yeah.
Right, good.
Okay, so there's your choices. So then you'll do search by name, and I think we're waiting. Okay, there it is. All right.
Who's your choice physician?
Probably you.
Of course you.
And I wasn't even scripted with that.
Right?
I said it's probably you.
I behaved. That's all I'm there.
So then it's going to pull up his information. And we might have a slow connection. And then from there, you'll have, we'll search. The one thing that is different, and I'll be talking about a little bit tomorrow, that we're working on another possible revamping of the license lookup, but with the Department of Consumer Affairs. In the old system, you used to be able, I believe, to see the location on that front screen. So that will be something that we're going to be asking for in any type of revamp of a system, is that up there, because usually, if you at least saw, I have, Ronald H. in Riverside, and I have Ronald W. in
San Francisco.
Sacramento, I know which one's probably my doctor, because it'll be easier to locate them. So then this is the web page that comes up. And you can just scroll through it. Hopefully all of you have looked at our website, and for those of you that are physicians, checked yourselves out. And so all of this information is here for individuals. But what we did, we're ready to move on. So what we did is we took, actually, I think it was Dr. Levine, some of Dr. Levine's and Dr. Krause's comments from the last meeting, and we said, well, what we really need is we need to know what that information on that physician profile actually means to the public. And so we wanted to drive individuals to be able to see a sample profile and then to go line by line through what that means. And they can take the time, hopefully, to look at this. We'll show you the links of where we're putting it on the webpage. We're putting it on 2 pages so they can see to get to it. So we're putting it right there, physician profile descriptions, and then actually if you clicked on the what is and is not available on a physician's report, we're actually adding it there. So the physician profile description provides you with a guide to understanding what is displayed on the profile. So then once you go back here, then we've outlined at the beginning, and we kind of tested some individuals, like, what do you really want to know about your doctor? So we tried to answer those questions here. The profile includes information regarding their practice location, their specialties, that they're licensed, whether or not they've had disciplinary action. And so all of this information, we're trying to assist the individuals with knowing what is important for them and how they can be an informed physician. But more importantly, once you start scrolling down through here, and it gives you the instructions of how to do this as well in that opening paragraph. Then once you start scrolling down, so we can just do license number, Shar, if you want to start. Once you click on that, it's going to pull up a definition of what that means. So the public can easily go and see, well, what does that license number actually mean? We've tried to write it in the 6th grade level. We've tried to write it with something that will be interesting to the public. And so hopefully we'll probably be sending what we've developed out to individuals to actually look at that and make sure that what we think is understandable and not so bureaucratic is actually that way. But for each of these items, then we've done this. And then the other good thing we've done is you can actually, if we want to go to another one, Shar, so we can maybe do the license status. So license status is one where you can have numerous items under that license status. So what we wanted to do, when I first developed it, it was like this big laundry list, and nobody wants to read through that. So maybe you know that your doctor is canceled. Well, what does that mean? So you can actually go click on it, it expands and gives you the information as to what that license status means. So then if you scroll down like surrendered, once you click on that, it gives you the definition, but you'll notice there that there's also some hyperlinks. So then in order to help the public understand that, once you click on that administrative disciplinary action, then it takes you over into the definition for that. So it can drive the individual to understand even more about what that information means. So if you want to go back.
But in general versus the specific?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. And the other thing that we've done, if you want to scroll down, so this is the, oh, go ahead.
No.
Did I miss something?
No.
Okay. So then if you scroll down, we've even done it on the physician survey. If you want to click on one of those, we've tried to explain what that means. That's probably, go to, are you retired? So it's a little bit more information, and we're also trying to answer those questions before they happen. So explaining this does not necessarily correspond to the physician's status, which may not reflect retired in the fee exempt field, because a lot of doctors are retired and they report they're retired, but they keep up their current and renewed license because they want to still, maybe practice just a few hours a week. So that's another item we have. So then scrolling down, and the most important one for physician discipline then is if you click on the administrative disciplinary actions. On here, you can see, first of all, we're trying to tell them if the words none found are listed to the right of this title, then no public disclosure is available. If the words are found are there, you can, follow by a number. You can actually click on the word found and then go to the URL link. So if you want to click on one of those there. The other thing that we've tried to tell them is that to know the reasons for the physician surrendering the license, review the accusation or decision by clicking on the URL, because that was the other thing. How do we drive the individuals to actually being able to read a lot of that information? And there might be some clarity in talking to maybe the Consumers Union group or other community groups as to maybe making that a little clearer, but that's kind of how we've put it out there to try to help them to understand where they're going to get that information.
When you're putting it out there for clarification for the public, I would recommend you go to a group that has nothing to do with the medical board, that has no understanding of what the medical board does, who's not had any issues with the medical board. Because that way I think you get a better perspective of what detail needs to be there.
It's a great idea. So that's kind of the update and the changes that we're proposing at this point for our website. So they all kind of tie together, from the campaign to the brochure and to the updates to the website.
Can I ask one question, Dr. Lewis, about this?
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to walk
This
back
is
over
this
here.
is absolutely excellent. I want to thank you guys all for doing this. My one question I have, the issue that I've had when I've tried to check the website with someone who needs help, is that not often the last name is correct, and the first name might either be spelt differently or spelt unbeknownst to me, that's how you would spell the name, or for whatever reason, and then I will get not found. So if there was a way to either instruct the reader or the opportunity to just take the last name and get a list, or the last name and a first initial somehow, that so that the person trying to get the information either gets a prompt or somehow gets further, you know where I'm, thank you.
Yeah. And misspellings, if they can't find it. The other thing we can put on there is if they can't find it, that they can call the medical board, because sometimes we'll keep trying, different spellings and see if we can find the individual too. So.
And we'll be submitting a work authorization with the vendor of the Breeze system in order to enhance the search by name within a particular board, because right now you have to have an exact last name match. Like we put in Dr. Lewis's last name, it has to exactly match. It won't find anything starting with Lewis at all. So we're asking them to enhance that, so you could put in, Lou, and you would
get some
anything
prompts.
starting with that. And then to also add that explanation of you can put in Lou and get Lewis in those.
Yeah, but it's the first name that I've also, that for me, it's
Yeah.
been the first name more so than the last name.
The first name will already do that, but currently you have to have the last name exactly right.
I can tell you that I wish that were true.
Okay, so I'm going to go around, we have agenda item 4, 5, and 6 combined into one. So I'm going to take questions from
Great.
members of the committee first. So Dr. Hawkins.
So I like the changes and the growth and development in this area. I do have a couple of questions and comments. I know that there's some patients in my practice who could do this very easily, but I wonder if we're going to take an opportunity to actually have a trial run with some. I'm going to have some of my patients try it. I'm sure some of them are going to get stuck because of their level of education, and get some feedback from them. So I think that's one thing I hope we'll do, is to do some trial runs and see where people are, some of the seniors, and where they get stuck, and have this as something that actually can grow and develop. The other thing is, one of the big groups, which you didn't mention, but is implied, is the churches. So in that low-hanging group of folks, people from the pulpit will talk about
Right.
your doctor and this and that, and increasingly we're reaching out to churches to do health fairs and that sort of stuff. But I think a trial run with the consumer is really, really important, particularly some of the older groups who education level may not be as high as we think.
One of the nice things about the images is that if whoever we can get to pick up one of these flyers, we have, this stock photo in here, but we've used the same photo there. So anyone that picks up one of these and gets to our website, hopefully,
Right.
can
That was all part of the branding
get there,
to keep the.
So that was one reason why we use the same
Good.
image.
Any other comments, Dr. Hawkins? No?
I think it's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
In the last 2 months, you guys, I really want to thank and compliment the people that worked on this. It's admirable, and I think it's going to move us light years ahead. Thank you.
Yes.
Definitely a team effort.
I'm sure.
Dr. Kraus.
Congratulations on these efforts. They really are improvements. What are the metrics of our website usage? How many hits do we get? Is that increasing or decreasing? How does it compare to last year? So on.
Compared to last year, I don't have those stats available, but approximately last month, we received a total of 335,000 hits. 254 of those, 254,000 were actual unique hits to the site. So we do get, on the average, I think I did keep sorry, I have one stat here.
I'm probably responsible for 20%.
What does unique mean?
Oh, for the unique means the one-time IP address. So for me especially, this is what I do all day long. So every time I hit the website, that counts it as a hit. So for unique hits, it's registering your IP address the one time. That's a unique.
So if you visited multiple times that month,
It's only going
unique
to,
count is 1.
right, but it still will count you a total hit page and then a unique hit.
I
So
think that's a great statistic because it tells you that there's a need for it and people are finding it, and that it's worth our effort to optimize it.
We have a product called Google Analytics that allows us to track that kind of stuff through our website, and Cassandra Hawkinson has asked us to help her prepare some charts and things like that for future meetings. And we can drill down to the specific page and tell you how many people went through the search page, or how many people went to, this particular page, that particular page. So we'll be putting those to helping her put together those stats, and future, meetings we can report on those individual pages.
to answer Dr. Levine's question, last month we had 91,000 people who clicked on the license search button here. So if they're coming through the traffic through the medical board's website, we can track it. The ones that we can't track are the ones that go directly to Breeze. So for the ones who came to our site first, we had 91,000 that looked up there.
91,000.
Wait, you just entered into the conversation something I don't understand.
Oh, I'm sorry, she had asked a question
No, the
earlier.
breeze versus,
Oh.
help
The
here.
back door.
If when I sign on to medical board website
Right.
to verify,
Correct.
right, but doesn't that take me to the breeze site?
Eventually.
Correct, but
And
When
that
you're-
breeze site, you're saying, okay, so that's where I'm,
Go through
when you're on our
Breeze.
site up in the address bar there, it'll say nbc.ca.gov.
that's what I go, right?
Once you click through and you get to actually out to Breeze, you'll see that changes the breeze.ca.gov.
Right,
The Department of Consumer Affairs owns that,
right,
so we wouldn't have access to the
That data.
servers or to get the analytics out of there.
but it's coming, so that's just the second half of the same equation. It's not a new equation, it's the same.
There could be more hits that we don't know, but it's because of the avenue that they're coming in. They're coming in directly through Breeze versus coming in through our website first.
Because you could actually go to DCA's website and choose the medical board. Well, actually, that would take it to our website, but you could actually go straight into Breeze
Right.
and go from here, because actually probably I would say credentialing companies go straight into Breeze, not in through the medical board's webpage, because they can go and check all their licensees, not just, all of them that are on Breeze, but they can check more than one license type. So if you hit here first, we can't measure that.
But to get to that page, you haven't gone,
Yeah, so that 91,000 is the number of people that hit license search for us and went through find it by name that way.
And
If an individual just starts out on their computer and they go straight to Breeze or straight to DCA to Breeze, we can't get that number.
and who are the 335,000, where have they come from?
They've gone just to our website overall.
Just overall, in general, our website.
So everybody understands this but me, right?
Yes.
I'm glad.
We'll explain it to
I'll
you
have
later.
a tutorial later, okay?
We'll get a 12-year-old to explain it to her. It's always the kids.
Page that started with www.nbc.ca.
So they may have gone to the form section or the index section or the outpatient surgery center, not to the verify.
No,
Through a different door.
335,000.
Okay.
That's all pages.
It's everybody that's doing anything with the medical board. Thank you, Dr. Kraus, for clarifying my
So-
stupidity.
Dr. Levine?
so the good news is that the majority of folks going in through Breeze or DCA are not consumers. They're more likely to be
Right.
licensees. When you go to renew your license, it says check your profile. And so,
Yeah, the only ones that would is if they are real familiar with that process and they just bookmark Breeze and they just hit Breeze every time. But again, that's probably not the normal public person. Yeah.
Anybody on this side, any comments? Then I'll go back around to make sure I've, anybody else? Okay,
I just
now,
have a comment about
Go ahead.
can we get demographic data on the click? Is that possible through age, ethnicity, gender,
You get location, some details like that.
Okay.
But
which will narrow down the zip code?
yes.
Okay.
So
Because that would help.
I think it goes down to city and down to zip code eventually if you want to drill down that far.
Okay.
There are, some products out there that will allow you
Right.
to add that extra demographic info, but it costs money.
Okay.
So, it's something if you guys are interested in, we can look further into it. It's not in the package that we currently have.
Okay, great. I think you guys did an excellent job in terms of answering the not so obvious questions with the click-through and the explanation. I think that's excellent.
And when we do enhance the website to have these new images, we call them tiles out here, just how we can tell how many people click the verify license button 91,000 times, we can tell you how many people come through these buttons too, so we can know if this is getting out and making a difference.
And that's also part of the reason that we're putting the what is that called? That
QR code.
QR code, is that we can start identifying pages to have these codes go to a specific page. So if we're trying to see how many people are filing a complaint through perhaps one of these brochures, we can get that data then too.
In the bottom left-hand corner on the back side, the little thing looks like a barcode. You might see a product in the grocery store or something like that. That's called a QR code, and your cell phones, you can scan that code, and what this blob actually means is it's a pointer to the medical board's website. So if you have the functionality on your
Phone.
you can just scan that and it takes you right to our website. And so we can add those to any kind of publication that we put out now. And people that know what they are, they see them. Other people just look right past them. But it's
Again, it's age specific, I guess. If you're over a certain age, you wouldn't know what it is.
it's a handy tool because our website
Specific ages.
But if you can just take a picture, it's a lot faster than typing in www.nbc.com.
I think we're all going to have one of those right here eventually, right? So go back around. Dr. Levine.
Yeah, just a couple quick comments. One, I don't know if I'm the only one who's surprised. I think 91,000 is a lot more than I expected the answer to be, so I think that's very reassuring. And the other is, I think it's that Google Analytics will be incredibly important in being able to track spikes based on specific activities in this outreach campaign. We'll be able to, we ought to allow enough time to actually measure the impact of a PSA or a health fair locally to see whether we're getting spikes. I think it's great.
Right, we do that each month, so I do have the sample Google Analytics that we pull each month. It can tell me the language that they're speaking. It breaks it down, English, French, so it's pretty detailed.
And right now, we're including them on our Ms. Hawkinson's PAO report, but it was a great idea to actually put it in a chart, by month, so we can actually track it and see what months we have spikes and everything. So
We can probably even track news articles out there. If somebody's, concerned, or there's some terrible thing happening, we could probably see a spike maybe. But it's a great tool.
When we put out one of our news releases and send it out through the subscriber blast, you can see instantly,
Can you?
it spikes up that day with people coming into our site to read that news release.
Good. Well, any more?
Wait. So when you put out you put out some kind of a subscriber alert, you click on that subscriber alert to find out what the subscriber alert is, and then you're counting that as a click onto the website?
Because that link in that subscriber alert takes you back to our website.
To some place in the website.
But not if you just read the article? Okay.
And on our site, we'll be talking about this actually in the next committee, but the subscriber alert, it'll come up with the name of the doctor, what he did, and then you can actually click. It actually clicks into that public document, so that is hitting our
It's
website.
amazing, just amazing. Okay.
So you don't want to hear amazing. I'm going to tout what Sean, in the future, one thing that's interesting is if we can, for those that are high tech, you could actually Dr. Lewis could actually have a QR to his actual license page. So one of those little things on the back. So in time, if we get, everything kind of like the way you'd like to in the future, working with DCA and license lookup, you would literally be able to, if you wanted to have on your forms, you could have a QR that goes directly to his license profile. So,
I work in the prison. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure I want that just yet. But
We won't pay for those.
someday. Oh. So we need to move on. So I've heard from people to the committee. My prerogative, if you don't mind, is since we've talked about agenda item 4, 5, and 6, I'd like to combine them all, if you don't mind, because they're all related. So what I'd like to do is I have public comments here, and most of them are.
Good afternoon. My name is Marian Hollingsworth. I'm here on behalf of the Consumers Union Safe Patient Project, a nationwide campaign that is organizing patient safety advocates from across California as the California Safe Patient Network. We are pleased that the MBC is recognizing that its mission regarding patient safety includes its responsibility to support consumers in knowing the history of disciplinary actions of the physicians they are considering seeing for their care. We have reviewed the board's appropriate renamed Check Up on Your Doctor's License campaign outreach plan. We would like to preface our comments regarding the signs in physicians' offices by noting that we believe that the most effective and efficient way to notify patients of their physician's disciplinary history is for physicians who are on probation to notify their patients of their probation. We recommend some straightforward edits to the sign that is already required by statute and regulation to be posted in physicians' offices and in all places where doctors practice medicine. The current sign says, "Notice to consumers, medical doctors are licensed and regulated by the Medical Board of California," and it gives the phone number and website. But this sign gives patients absolutely no indication that the medical board is the place to file a complaint, nor does this sign indicate that the medical board is a place where patients can go to find out whether their physician has been disciplined. Changing the sign is something more effective that would cost the medical board virtually no money. But unfortunately, the board's outreach plan up to now has completely overlooked this potentially highly effective approach. We would support a revised sign that clearly states where to look up their doctor's history and where to file complaints against doctors, including an address, link, and phone number. Something like, if you want to file a complaint regarding your physician, go to www.mbc.ca.gov and click on Consumers Complaint Information. Or also click on Look Up a Physician to find out more information about your doctor's disciplinary history. In addition to a requirement that a sign be posted, physicians should also be required to ensure that every patient who visits their office is handed a piece of paper that includes the information we just proposed to be included on this sign. We would encourage the board to attempt to make these changes by regulation. However, if the board does not believe that is feasible, we urge the board to sponsor legislation to approve the effectiveness of the sign. And as a side note, as far as notifying the public, you may want to contact the school boards because all high schoolers are taught CPR and the Heimlich. They're required to have a little health card before they graduate. And this would be a great target audience because these are very tech-savvy kids and then would take that information home to their families. These are kids who are either going to go off to college, being on their own, or go into the workforce, and this would be a great way of reaching out to people.
Thank you very much for your comments. Appreciate it. Our next speaker is Lisa McGiffert, Consumers Union. Ms. McGiffert?
Good afternoon. I'm Lisa McGiffert with Consumers Union Safe Patient Project. And first, I want to express our support for the work you're doing. It's great to see the board interested in improving the outreach, and we support what you do, what you're doing here. And we know that your goal is to get people to know whether their doctor's license is in good standing, and we also think that people need to know when their doctor's license is not in good standing. And as mentioned before, we feel the most efficient way for that is direct notice from the physician to the patient. But when we're talking about the outreach plan on the website improvements, we very much like removing the verify the licensed issue. And we strongly support a robust website. And I think that your plan goes steps forward to making that happen. So when patients are looking to see if their doctor has been disciplined, we have a few suggestions. We have 3 ideas. Top of the page notice, when the patient gets to the profile, to have a statement at the top that says that this doctor has a disciplinary order or has been disciplined. We've been doing website reviews around the country, and we have found one state that does that. It's like in red. It's not like bold, but it's just in red, and that could direct people to look up the disciplinary actions. We're also recommending that there be a summary of the action. These board orders are sometimes long, very legalese, and we think a summary that would describe the action, the reason for the discipline, the timeline for probation, any practice restrictions, and it could be readily visible in the box where the actions are. We also recommend a monthly update of the list of doctors on probation, similar to the list that was given to Consumers Union when we did a public records request, listing the doctors by county so they could easily see, the public could easily see who is on probation, and put that list on the website as well as a link to that in your to your email list. We would like to see a budget for your outreach plan. We're a little concerned about the cost of some of these things and your strategy to coordinate with DCA. And we're really concerned. One of the cheapest ways to get information out to the public today is through social media, especially Facebook and Twitter, where millions of people are communicating each day. Not including a social media plan in this outreach plan is a glaring omission. And we think that you could probably do this very easily, even with some interns. We encourage you to have the work ongoing, not just 1 month. And also, we're very glad to see you keeping up the statistics and hope you will use those for measuring your progress from time to time, and suggest that you try to get a polling question to ask if people know about the medical board so you can test it a year from now to see if they do.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you very much. Next speaker is Ray Krolick.
Hi, I'm Ray Krolick. I'm a member of the Safe Patient Project, and I want to really applaud your campaign. You've really done some wonderful work here and pretty much stolen my thunder. You're way ahead of me. So my testimony will be very brief. The creative strategies relying upon paper documents are great opportunities to reach that segment of the population that we're so concerned about, excuse me, that doesn't have internet access. And just to emphasize how important this is, you might want to add perhaps a hotline number, maybe a dedicated hotline number for just that purpose, to direct these consumers to get their information there. Just to justify how important this is and how big a segment of the California consumer population this is. You know, the Pew Research Center has given us some statistics, and I have compiled those against 2014 consensus figures for California. According to Pew, 39% of adults over 65 don't use the internet. In California, 13% of our population is over 65. 33% of those with less than a high school education don't use the internet. 19% of Californians don't have a high school education. 20% of African Americans don't use the internet, and that's 6.5% of Californians. 18% of Hispanics don't use the internet, and a whopping 38.6% of our California population is Latino or Hispanic. So we're talking about an enormous segment of our population. So I think this deserves more than just a bigger font on the phone number, on a pamphlet. I think that you know, you need to look at maybe increasing the emphasis of use of that telephone number and that hotline number. And as has been said before, not just for this 1 month, but going forward, targeting that segment, you know, protecting that part of our population would be real important. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. The next speaker is Michelle Montserrat Ramos. Ms. Ramos, you have two. You want just? Can I just give her 4 and 6 is perfect. So we'll the 2 topics, 2 agenda items.
Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Montserrat Ramos. I'm here on behalf of Consumers Union Safe Patient Project. After reviewing your checkup on your doctor's license campaign outreach plan, I'm requesting that you expand your target audience to include the chronically ill, specifically patients, consumers who receive treatment in dialysis units, infusion centers, and cancer centers or radiation centers. These patients are the biggest healthcare consumers in the state, have the most doctors and specialists they see regularly, and are hospitalized more than the average California consumer. These patients are in the greatest need of the information you have available. For many of them, every decision they make is a life or death decision. As I spend 3 to 4 days in such a unit, I know that patients there excuse me, regularly receive information in the form of paperwork on a regular basis. They receive information on medication, treatment options, emergency procedures from their staff. The system's already set in place where you can develop one pamphlet or one flyer that provides information on who you are, what information your website provides to consumers, who your doctor is, and how to check his background, how to file a complaint, or even how to find doctors in their area by specialty. You don't have to provide a bulk amount of brochures. 1 or 2 brochures per unit. They make copies of all their pamphlets they hand out to their patients. You can reach countless California patients in one easy-to-do outreach and would make a significant contribution to making the most chronically ill aware of who you are and what your mission is.
Thank you very much for your comments, Ms. Monserrat-Ramos.
Okay.
I have a
Item
one.
6. Did you want me to address item 6?
Just combine them. That's
Okay.
good. Perfect. Thank you.
As you mentioned earlier today, we believe that most patients who actually find their way to the appropriate website page will have great trouble digesting the current content. When the patient finally reaches their physician's profile, if the doctor has been disciplined, a brief summary of the reasons for the discipline, the timeline for probation, and any practice restrictions should be readily visible to the patient and written in plain, easy-to-understand language. The brief summary should be located under the physician's name and license number. The patient consumer should not have to scroll through optional reporting information at the very end of the profile, which is long, to find a link to a public document, as most patients, consumers, will not scroll that far. In addition to these important changes necessary to make the website content useful to patients, there are a number of problems identified by Safe Patient Project activists, which we understand are breeze-related, that need to be addressed if the board is to truly make this information accessible to patients. And I know that Kim mentioned about changing the verify license language, which is great. But I also wanted to look at the public documents links. I think there's 2 on the new example of your revamped website. And I know in one section it just mentions public documents. Another one it mentions enforcement documents. You might want to consider in parentheses adding, has your doctor been disciplined? Disciplinary actions, so that consumers will actually know that public documents is a link to enforcement documents or disciplinary actions. If we want patients, consumers to be informed, you need to give them access to your information. We're requesting that an additional search entry is added to the physician profile search. We're also asking that the search be changed to include a multiple entry search. We're requesting that a physician discipline search entry be included on the physician profile. With the additional search entry and the multiple search capacity, a patient can search for all doctors in a city such as Pasadena who have disciplinary records. So a patient can find out firsthand which doctors in Pasadena have public reprimands or on probation. The multiple entry search would help patients find doctors by discipline in their city. You could add a special entry to the search so patients can search for all cardiologists in Huntington Beach. I know that we can give consumers more information on their doctors, on the internet, and in person to fulfill your mission and commitment to protect California consumers. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Monserrat-Ramos. My next speaker is Karen Ehrlich. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi.
Karen Ehrlich, licensed midwife. Hello. I also think these are some great improvements, and I'm glad to see that these are happening. I have 3 suggestions as we went through the presentation. The license search brochure, given that I am a licensed midwife, it's always a feeling of being a little left out of things. I would love to see another line somewhere on that brochure that licensed opticians, I don't remember, the somnographers, all of us, that these are also professions that can be, information can be accessed at this website so that it's out there. We want to be accountable to our consumers as well. I want licensed midwives on your brochure. On the field that shows all of the different disciplinary possibilities with the definitions that are on there, I had to notice that you have malpractice judgment and malpractice settlement separated from each other so that they're really in different places. I think they should be right next to each other with reference to each other so that in the definition it says this is different from a judgment. Click here to read what a judgment is. And on the judgment field, this is not a settlement. Click here to see what the settlement definition is. I think it would make it easier for people to understand what the differences are. Then in terms of outreach, it struck me that among the places where you might want to do some outreach is having to do with schools, as began to be mentioned, but parent-teacher associations, school boards, and I'm sure there are lists of private schools to be able to contact whoever their management are and executives to be able to get the information to the teachers and to the parents about this as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And my final speaker slip that I have is from Tina Mansouri. Sorry. Tina Manassian. Okay.
Good afternoon.
We can't read.
My name is Tina Manassian, and I'm a member with Consumers Union Safe Patient Project. We've come a long ways. You've come a long ways. I've actually been coming to meetings since 2005. I am a survivor of medical harm from a doctor who battled an addiction to alcohol, and he was on probation. Unfortunately, this wasn't available to me. Had it been available to me, I wouldn't have chosen him as my doctor. But I applaud you for all the steps that you've done to create this for consumers and to protect patients in California. But I have a couple of suggestions. One of them is, I don't know if the staff at Medical Board drives governmental cars or state cars. You could put your website on that. That's an idea. I work with seniors and veterans, and I do a lot of advocacy work out there. And one of the outreaches that I do is fairs like they do. I've actually seen one of your folks at a fair, and she did really well. I think her name was Miss Valine. Very informative. Another thing you can do, which I don't believe is illegal, you can ask Cassandra, an auto dialer. You're not selling anything, you're informing consumers in California. An auto dialer will automatically dial consumers and notify them of any public announcement you have. Politicians do it all the time. I get calls from both parties all the time. I hang up on them. Anyways. But I wouldn't hang up from you guys. And then one more tidbit. As far as a disclaimer, on your website under public, I believe it's public documents, it says, please read disclaimer. This section of the Medical Board's website contains scanned public record documents relating to administrative actions, blah, blah, blah. And then you go down to the bottom of that paragraph, last sentence, it says a search of this section only should not be relied upon to determine if a physician has had any action taken against his or her license or to determine the license status. Huh?
Triple negatives.
Yeah.
Syntax.
And so here's the issue that I had. My doctor had an accusation filed against him. But as I started coming to these meetings over the years, I found out that when a doctor is under investigation, it's not public record until it becomes an accusation. So consumers will never know that. So if you could put something on there, maybe in italic, not red, but maybe italic, maybe red and italic, but something that lets consumers know that there could be, if there's a pending investigation or a complaint against the licensee, this is not public record, and it will not appear on our website, something like that. Because lots of doctors are under, well, Barbara just mentioned it today earlier that, right? There's investigations that have been going on for how many years? Consumers don't know that until it becomes an accusation, right?
I don't know about it
Okay.
until it becomes that out of it.
We need, thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So quickly, we're going to go on the telephone for agenda item 4, 5, and 6. Anybody on the telephone?
Do we have any comments on the phone? John.
Hello, John?
John?
I guess John's gone? Okay, well, you don't hear anything, right? Okay, did I leave anybody out? Anybody from the committee? Okay. So we'll move on to agenda item 7, which is future agenda items. Anybody make a recommendation for future agenda items? Anybody in the committee?
Are you going to come back with a report as to what you, I apologize, Dr. Vino.
No,
it's your
it's
hand.
You've presented a tremendous amount of
Yes.
information, and I think, and got some great feedback, and I think it would be helpful just at the next meeting to have some report on a timeline.
Yes.
Because as I think one of our Safe Patient Project folks pointed out, to try and do everything all at once, would probably consume our entire budget. So what we're going to tackle when.
Right.
And just,
But if you look at the priority, we're going to do something priority, yeah.
I know, but those aren't all priority 1, are they?
No, they aren't all priority 1. They're priority 1, priority 2, and then good to have later.
But just the sequencing of the things
Right.
that are in that priority category.
Right. We've worked on that with staff.
So we were kind of waiting until we heard to make sure you all agreed with this campaign before we put timeframes, and we'll do like we did in the last one, where we say what month we're going to be working on what in it.
And just if I remember correctly, and it wasn't reflected in the materials, March is National Consumer Protection Month, which was why we focused on that as the first out of the gate launch of this consumer education.
Right. I think because March is almost upon us in 2 months, we can focus what we can in a short time to get the stuff. We might not be able to do like the outreach to get them on the bottom of but everything we can do by that time, we'll focus on that.
And we're going to use that framing, the National Consumer
Yeah, we can look and see exactly what month that is and everything, and figure out what we can do in that time frame.
Okay, so for the next meeting, we're going to bring back some of this information. If there's any other data, if there's any other enhancements, we'll do a whole summary again at the next committee meeting, okay? Ms. Ehrlich? For agenda item? Is this for an agenda item?
This is for number 7.
Oh, yes, agenda item. Good. Thank you very much.
I'm trying to
You're fine.
play by the rules.
You are.
I would suggest also that the suggestions that the Safe Patient Project folks and I made about other things that could be added to this also be followed up on, so that we can hear how what we've suggested is being addressed.
Yes, thank you. Copious notes have been taken. Right, Kim? Yes, and recorded, so. Okay, so we've reached the end of the meeting. I want to give to term millennial or whatever, a shout out to the staff who has worked on this. Was there anybody on the phone? Did he ever come back? He never came back. Did John ever come back on the phone?
No comments, okay.
Okay, so no comments at all about any?
But did you not hear us out talking to you?
We're okay?
You were
Okay,
okay.
we're okay. We're okay on the phone. Okay, a personal shout out to Kim, Cassandra, and Jennifer, and the rest of the staff and DCA who have worked on this. I applaud you personally. Okay, thank you. And if there's nothing else to discuss, we will now adjourn the committee meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So you're staying for the...
Yeah, I'm staying for the next one. You don't have to, and you neither.